Folks, Alicia from Supercharged Offers. I am here with Joe from Cowboy. What was it, Joe?
Cowboy Joe Alliance.
Cowboy Joe Alliance. I love it.
Most people call me Cowboy Joe. I'm still trying to figure that out. I'm not sure why.
I'm not sure why either. I mean, I can't see the resemblance.
Hey, if they want to call me that, it's perfectly okay.
Well, I go by AJ, so Cowboy Joe and AJ here. Joe, you just said some really insightful things about when people are looking at capital gains and transitioning in their asset classes and businesses. Tell us a little bit more about what you do, first of all.
Well, I teach people, it's a huge paradigm shift, but there's basically two sets of rules in this country. One for the uninformed and one for the informed. Well, I teach people the informed rules and how to minimize the capital gains and then also defer them. Now, you hear people say, well, I can help defer in perpetuity. Well, that's a little, horse is calling. That's a little bit of a misconception because you can't defer them in perpetuity. You have to get them into other investments. And that's money flow management, and the velocity of money is where that comes in. It's rolling into other investments. So let's say you sell a business for $80 million. You can put that into this vehicle and then start diversifying into other investments tax-free because you don't have to pay as long as you're not distributing and you're doing more investments. Well, here's the power of that. You've heard the penny doubled every day for 30 days, what that is, right? That's $10,700,000 something.
Big numbers.
Well, a penny doubled every day for 30 days, applying a 35% tax rate to it, take a wild guess at what that amount is.
Oof, a lot, folks, a lot.
No, if you apply the tax rate to it.
Are you asking me mathematical questions early in the morning,
Okay.
Joe? It's not going to fly.
We'll cut to the chase. That same penny, if you apply a 35% tax rate, is $33,000 versus $10 million. That's the power of being able to mitigate taxes inside of your compounding and growth.
Yeah.
So that's what these vehicles do. And then I help people exponentialize that by diversifying into other investments.
Fantastic.
Now, that was business owners, real estate investors. They have to do what's called a 1031 exchange to minimize capital gain. Well, you've got a short time period. You have to deploy all of that capital back into something else, and it has to be, you can't split it into different asset classes. And you have and there's investors that will take a bad investment because they're running up on their window just to defer capital gains. You don't have to do any
Moving
of
a
that.
problem into a problem, right?
Exactly, and you don't have to do any of that.
Yep.
So that's
Uninformed
what I teach.
versus informed. There it is again.
I'm kind of in a different space than most people because what I teach is synergistic with what other people are teaching. So I'm not competing against the real estate gurus, the business gurus, or the cryptocurrency gurus.
You kind of sit in the middle of them all,
And
don't you?
I can help all of them.
Yeah.
So
I love it.
what I can do is I can help literally every group of investors. Cryptocurrency, you know, there's huge capital gains in that. If somebody gets one that 100Xs, then that's a huge capital gains hit.
Yep.
I can
Absolutely.
teach them how to minimize, mitigate it, and then defer it. You can defer it for future investment.
Yep.
You just can't defer it in perpetuity.
Yeah, excellent. So if there's a real estate investor watching this right now and they've got some properties that maybe they're looking at doing some interesting things with, buying, selling, etc., what's like one piece of advice you'd want to give to them that maybe would get them more informed?
Well, that branches off into a whole another part of my expertise. The biggest thing I would say if you're investing in real estate is understanding the capital structure under the investment or any investment, because you can take two investors investing in the exact same investment in the exact same location. One will be successful and one will fail strictly because they didn't understand the capital structure underlying the investment, because markets fluctuate.
They do.
We have downturns. People get laid off, so you end up with vacancies like multifamily.
Yep.
So if the capital structure is correct, you can handle that downturn, not only keep growing, you end up picking up the property that wasn't properly structured because you have the funds available to be able to do that, and you've got the track record that banks will still work with you.
So I guess can I summarize that with one piece of advice here, and that is get informed early when you're starting the transactions, right? Not at the point where you need to make those tough decisions later on, because if you know what to do up front, well, that's part of the information, isn't it? To be well informed.
Well, and whether it's me or any coach, coaching is the cheapest investment you will ever make. And I can say that with authority because I've got several friends of mine that we've had discussions by the fireside before. We call our failures that we didn't have coaches on high dollar seminars.
Yep.
Well, it's much cheaper to pay a coach $100,000
to not make a 100,000 mistake yourself.
Millions of dollar
Yes.
mistake on the seminar side. If
I
you
couldn't agree more. Folks always look for someone that's done what you don't want to do, and then not rinse and repeat, right?
Because I have made millions, but I have also lost millions. And
Yep.
I've lost millions because I was learning it on my own.
Yeah.
Versus going to somebody that had been there, done that.
Yep.
Because you can see, when you've done it, you can see ahead and see some of the things that are coming.
Yeah, we don't know what we don't know.
And also, if something comes that you don't see, you know the different options that you can do versus somebody that teaches from a textbook. There's a lot of people out there, professors in colleges, that teach theory in textbook, but then if something different than the textbook happens,
they don't know
how to do anything.
Yeah, correct. You heard it here first, folks. So Joe, thank you so much for sharing. How can people get in touch with you if they want to know more?
Well, it's my pleasure sharing, and probably the best way to catch me is I have cowboyjoealliance.com. And you can book a 20-minute consultation call with me, or you can see what all different services I do have. I've got boot camps coming up, I've got webinars, things like that. So cowboyjoealliance.com is the best way to find more information about me.
Wonderful. Thanks so much for sharing, Joe. Absolute
Thank you.
pleasure.
It's my pleasure.
Thanks, folks.